This is where we get controversial, and like right now, I'll be totally honest, I have a fear that I don't even want to record the rest of this video because it might not be worth me literally losing my entire channel for this video. I could literally get cancelled for what I'm about to say, and I will try and say it in the most like uninsulting way possible. But this same woman then who thinks of herself here, even though she is here and she's been then sleeping with, well, she, she wants these guys and she'll happily get into a relationship with them. So, they end up meeting up, going on a date, and then they fuck her, and then they don't like reply because these guys want a girl up there. This girl has now slept with 10 guys, 20 guys, and there's quite gut-wrenching research that shows that when a woman has slept around, her ability to stay faithful drastically decreases. In fact, it is researched. This is not like my sexist opinion. There is real core research for this, that the #1 indicator of a woman initiating a divorce and also getting into an affair is her premarital sex history. The #1 indicator that she will divorce you or cheat on you is simply just how many guys she has slept with before you. What's interesting is that it is not about the number of times that she has had sex. So a woman could have sex with her boyfriend 10,000 times, and that would actually like affect her less than if she had 10 hookups just one time each. So with the promotion of degeneracy, women essentially become corrupted, and that largely destroys their ability to be able to like stay faithful with the guy that they eventually want to really get with. And this is the dynamic you see of like a bunch of like, younger girls who have been really pushed to be like so sexually free when they're 16 and 17, 18, having sex since they were like 13 years old, going to parties, 18, 19, 20, just enjoying themselves. Girls just want to have fun and stuff, double-digit body counts. And guys aren't like free from the responsibilities of this as well. I'll discuss guys, but I just want to talk about what happens to girls. She gets to 22, 23, 24, she wants to start taking things a bit more seriously. She slept with 15 guys, 20 guys, she's, had a couple of relationships here and there. And eventually when she's 29 years old, 30 years old, 31, she's had like 10 years working and everything, and now she really wants to get married. She got pressure from her parents to have kids and everything. Then she meets a chump like you, and you're a real man who'll take care of her, who doesn't just want her for sex like all those fuckboys did. Yeah, all those assholes did. They just used. Then she meets a real man like you. A real man. A man who doesn't really care about her sexual history because he's so secure in himself. So she eventually meets the guy who's like the sweetheart that she's always wanted. And, she falls in love. Yeah, he's amazing. And, he's so happy. Yeah, I've met my princess. And, her past, oh, it's okay. And then her ability to actually stay faithful with this guy is just fucking, like, the data shows that it's lowered. But if we think about it in like an individual case, what a realistic scenario might be is that, 6 months they've been together, 1 year, they've got a child, 2 years, 3 years, they've got 2 children. And, years have went by, bro, years. And she's had children and everything. Now she's focused on the children. She's maybe in work and stuff. And she reminisces of like the Chad from 10 years ago who like, used to pound the fuck out of her. And she ends up like, just like being a little bit free on a voice call with one of her girlfriends, and they're just talking, and they just like subtly keep their voice down like, oh yeah, do you remember Chad? Like he just came back into the city today. And she's like, oh my God, his dick was so big and everything. And he slept with me so, like it was so fucking good. I can't believe like that one time him and his friends did, and then imagine her husband's like listening in from the door. I know this seems like weird as fuck, like misogynist, but like, bro, this is real stuff that happens. For guys, it's a very interesting case of how TikTok, well, not just TikTok, but just the degeneracy leads to this, because guys are then, we've already had this natural impulse inside of us to like fuck a lot. And so when we're then heavily promoted to do so, and it's kind of open to, you're being sold sex more than you realize, like you're being castrated, like all these porn websites, TikTok, social media, like they know that you're so addicted to sex, so that they've just like allowed women to present themselves in this way, because then they're just hooking your attention and they make more money from you. And so the majority of guys go through life just totally just addicted and just distracted by like the sexual shit they see on screens, by movies and music videos and porn and everything. And the top 10% of like chads, the top 10% of guys, they're eligible to have sex. And so it's a really weird dynamic where like literally the majority of guys have a porn addiction. They're totally lonely, and yet just a small percentage of men have got literally an astronomical body count, like have slept with so many women that you wouldn't even believe. There's men out there who have quite literally slept with thousands of women, and there's a fair amount of guys who have slept with hundreds of women, and yet there's millions, billions of guys who have never even kissed a girl before. So all of these problems, stem from degeneracy. Degeneracy is promoted by TikTok, and all these problems lead to a weak country. It leads to a country that doesn't have a strong family unit. It leads to a country that has men who don't have children, who don't have wives to work hard for. And so those men just kind of, sleep away into the darkness and just go to work, grudgingly come back and just like jack off. And 10 years from now, it'll be the exact same routine, but they'll come back and exchange 0.1 Ethereum for a cuddle in virtual reality fucking metaverse. TikTok isn't entirely to blame for this, because degeneracy has started in these Western countries for a while, but How TikTok comes into this equation is very, very interesting. There is a term called subversion. Subversion is a term for destroying your enemy's culture from the inside. It's like a war tactic. There is literally a war tactic that discusses how to destroy a nation without actually going to war, and it's by degrading their culture and the strength of their men. And there is a war strategist, a very famous Chinese war strategist from like ages ago, hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago, called Sun Tao. And there's a book called The Art of War. And in this Chinese book of like war strategy, it says that one of the greatest war strategies out there is to destroy the enemy country without even fighting a war that they realize that they're fighting. Essentially to like have an invisible war that the enemy country doesn't even realize that they're at war. That strategy has been used to create TikTok. It is literally destroying like the culture, the values of other countries, promoting degeneracy at like a compounding scale, weakening the men there. I heard this, I don't know if this is true, but school kids in China are being given the art of war to study in school. Like that's like compulsory reading. In the UK, we have fucking Biff and Chip. Like we have like these books that we've been reading since like, you know, Biff kicked over the ball into his neighbor's backyard and he's gotta go get it. We've been reading this shit. China's been preparing for war, openly stating that they are going to war. And everyone here is too busy just twerking. The degeneracy of the West is unfounded.